Here, bro. Peace out.
In this city, and I think, there's already been so much time, effort put in by so many people that, aren't going to get credit for what they did to bring All-Star here. So, trying to make it the best All-Star the WNBA has ever had. I know we'll certainly do that, but also, it is certainly a cool honor.
I'm done with this, man. I'm heading out. That's it. Peace. This city has already poured so much time, effort, and energy into making the All-Star event happen. A lot of people worked behind the scenes, and many of them probably won't ever get the recognition they deserve. Still, the goal remains clear. Make this the best All-Star event the WNBA has ever seen. There's no doubt that will happen. Being part of something like this is special, no question about it. Right now, something important is unfolding, and it deserves attention. Caitlin Clark has just wrapped up her first full practice session with Team USA in North Carolina. There's a noticeable shift in her presence. It's not just about how she moves on the court, but also how she speaks. There's confidence in her voice when she talks about taking recovery one day at a time. This doesn't feel like the exhausted rookie we watched last summer. That version of her looked worn down, both mentally and physically. She's had about 3 solid months away from the grind. Time to rest, heal, and reset. That break allowed her body to recover and gave her space to reconnect with the player she used to be before enduring that punishing first WNBA season. The clips coming out of this training camp reveal something subtle but powerful. It's something the league may not have expected fans to notice so quickly. There's a moment in one clip where someone reacts in real time. You can hear the surprise. Caitlin takes a shot, and right away it looks familiar. Her shooting form is back. She barely leaves the ground. It's smooth and effortless. That shot wasn't even a three-pointer. It looked like a mid-range attempt, yet the release was clean and controlled. The form alone tells a story. Watch her shooting motion closely. That natural flow, that quick release, the same rhythm that made her unstoppable during her college years. Even the commentator points it out, calling it the real Caitlin Clark. Not the restricted version we saw last season, but the authentic one. The version that dominated the game before everything became heavier. Here's something many people avoid discussing. Before entering the league, Caitlin added a lot of muscle. At the time, it made sense. She needed strength to handle the physicality, the hard fouls, and the aggressive defense she knew was coming. Veterans were ready to test her limits. However, that added muscle came at a cost. It altered her shooting mechanics. Her release lost some of its fluidity. Her range became inconsistent. Those deep shots that once felt automatic started falling short or bouncing off the rim. Now, looking at the recent practice footage, everything feels different. There's no forced movement, no unnecessary jumping, no tension. Her body looks balanced again. This is muscle memory taking over. This is the Iowa version of Caitlin Clark resurfacing because her body finally had the chance to reset and return to its natural state. While all of this is happening, conversations around the league continue. When it comes to Sophie Cunningham, fans already know her reputation. People have her stats, her highlights, and her moments memorized. She's known as one of the most talked about players. Recently, the WNBA's official social media posted a clip highlighting Sophie, noting she ranked 8th among the most searched athletes of the year. She was the only WNBA player on that list. One analyst even went on record saying Sophie is the second biggest name in the league after Caitlin Clark. That statement might trigger debate, but data doesn't argue with opinions. Search trends don't care about emotions. Engagement numbers don't lie. Sophie sparks discussion, controversy, and attention in ways most players don't. Whether fans support her or criticize her, she creates noise, and that matters in today's sports world. However, things get complicated when you look closer. Sources around Indiana suggest that Fever fans didn't exactly warm up to Sophie during the past season. Her physical style of play, tense moments on the court, and confrontations during games involving Caitlin created friction. That tension wasn't subtle, played out in public, and everyone noticed. In the middle of all this, Caitlin remains measured. When asked about positives during a challenging season, her response is calm and grounded. She talks about adversity, about how no season is perfect. She mentions injuries, coaching absences, and constant adjustments. She gives credit to her teammates for staying united. What stands out most is what she doesn't say. There's no mention of media chaos, no reference to the nonstop debate surrounding race, recognition, or narratives that overshadowed basketball itself. She doesn't acknowledge how her rookie season turned into a cultural battleground that had little to do with the game. That silence is intentional. It's smart. It shows discipline and awareness. But it also highlights the pressure she carries every time she speaks publicly. That level of self-control is exhausting. Managing every word while learning a new system, facing elite defenders, and handling constant scrutiny is a burden no first-year player should have to bear. Yet she handles it with maturity far beyond her years. Over the weekend, Caitlin finally returned to the court, and from the limited footage available, she looked like herself again. The clips were brief, but they told enough of the story. Coaches like Sue Bird spoke to the media. Others gave interviews too. But everyone knows the real reason people were watching. They were there to see Caitlin. Interestingly, one notable absence stood out. Stephanie White, one of the Team USA coaches, hasn't been visible in recent media coverage. That's surprising considering how active she was with interviews last year. This time around, she's been unusually quiet. No explanations. No appearances. It raises questions. Then there's the social media angle. The WNBA posted plenty of Team USA practice content. Angel Reese got featured. Chelsea Gray had her moments highlighted. There was even a generic post about young players that showed Caitlin for barely a second. But there was no dedicated highlight reel for her. This is the same player who drove nearly a 50% increase in regular season viewership. Social media is the league's main bridge to fans. It's how stars are built and how engagement grows. So when the league's biggest draw returns to action after months away and gets tucked into a group montage instead of a solo spotlight, it sends a message. Either the league is afraid of appearing biased, or there's a deliberate effort to lift others by lowering her visibility. Neither option looks good. Both raise concerns about how the league handles its biggest stars. Eventually, a short clip does appear. It's only 16 seconds long. Some viewers complain when commentary talks over clips, but reactions matter. Watching it again, frame by frame, tells its own story. Caitlin Clark is back on the floor. And whether the league highlights it or not, people are paying attention. The clip finally appeared, but it was short. Just 16 seconds. It went up about 6 hours after practice ended, and that alone raised a few eyebrows. Even so, those few moments were enough to notice something important. Caitlin Clark looked comfortable again. Her shooting form was smooth. Her movement felt relaxed. Most importantly, her confidence seemed restored. That quiet self-belief, which looked shaken at times last season, appeared to be rebuilding right in front of us. Still, while watching all this Team USA content, it's hard not to notice who isn't showing up much. Stephanie White. She's one of the assistant coaches for Team USA, yet her presence feels unusually muted. Just last year, she was everywhere. She coached Connecticut, then took the Indiana head coaching job, and suddenly she was on every podcast, every interview circuit, explaining her vision and energy for the future. Now, almost nothing. Since the season wrapped up, she's done only a handful of media appearances. During these Team USA practices, she's rarely front and center. She doesn't seem eager to be in the spotlight. It feels intentional, almost like she's stepping back on purpose. That's a noticeable shift for someone who was so open just months ago. It makes you wonder if coaching Caitlin Clark changes things in ways people don't fully understand. Managing expectations, dealing with nonstop attention, handling media pressure, and navigating cultural conversations that go far beyond basketball can be overwhelming. Maybe that reality has reshaped how Stephanie White approaches public visibility. Maybe silence feels safer right now. Meanwhile, Caitlin herself continues to answer questions with calm honesty. When asked how she's feeling physically, her response stays consistent. She says she feels good. She explains that she's taking things day by day. Her focus is simple: do everything possible to be ready for the next game. She talks about working closely with the medical staff, listening to her body, and prioritizing availability. On the surface, that sounds routine. Athletes say things like that all the time. But context matters here. Caitlin played more minutes than anyone else in the WNBA during her rookie season. She carried a massive offensive load, one that would wear down even a seasoned veteran. She absorbed constant physical contact that often went uncalled. On top of that, she was under a microscope every night. analyzed more than any player in women's basketball. So when she talks about managing her body carefully, it's not just coach speak. She's acknowledging the toll last season took on her. The fatigue was real. The wear on her body was real. Now she's being smarter. She's focusing on recovery, maintenance, and long-term health. That's maturity. That's growth. It's the kind of adjustment that separates players who burn out early from those who build long, successful careers. Then there's the footage itself. Caitlin catches the ball, squares up, and shoots. The reaction is immediate. Her shot looks right again. She barely leaves the floor. There's no hesitation. No forcing it. That attempt wasn't even a three-pointer. It looked like a mid-range jumper, but the release told the whole story. Watch the mechanics closely. The motion is natural. The follow-through is clean. The rhythm looks effortless. The commentator keeps repeating the same point because it's impossible to ignore. This is college Caitlin. This is the player who never doubted her form, who trusted her muscle memory, who could pull up from anywhere and expect the ball to drop. That observation carries big implications for the upcoming season. If Caitlin has truly rediscovered her shooting touch, everything changes. If she's had enough time to adjust to the speed and physicality of the professional game without sacrificing her offensive instincts, the league is about to see something different. Add in better control over the media storm and the outside noise, and suddenly we're talking about a player operating at full capacity. Her rookie season was already impressive despite all the obstacles. Rookie of the Year with no real adjustment period. All-Star honors while completely drained. A playoff appearance in the middle of chaos. Now imagine what happens when she's settled. When shots fall consistently. When she isn't carrying the entire offense by herself. When a coach has a full training camp to build a system around her strengths. That's the version of Caitlin Clark the league should be paying attention to. Not the overwhelmed rookie trying to survive. The composed, efficient scorer who knows exactly who she is. The one who's had time to reconnect with her identity as a player. The Team USA footage gives us small glimpses of that future. Her quick release is back. Her swagger is returning. There's joy in her game again. You can see it in how she moves and how she reacts. She's playing basketball without carrying impossible weight on her shoulders. That's why these next few months matter so much. Caitlin has time to train without the pressure of game results. She can build strength without rushing. She can study film, refine her decisions, and sharpen her approach. This is a rare window for growth. Last season, the WNBA struggled with how to handle the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. The league wasn't prepared for the ratings jump, the attention surge, or the new audience that showed up. Marketing decisions felt inconsistent. Protection on the court felt lacking. The balance between promoting her and uplifting others seemed unclear. But one thing is unavoidable. Caitlin Clark is the most important player in the WNBA right now. Not just because of her talent, though that's undeniable, but because she draws eyes. She brings in viewers. She makes casual fans care. When people tune in, it's often because of her. If the league continues to minimize that reality, it risks wasting a massive opportunity. Sophie Cunningham being the only other WNBA name on that most searched list says everything. There are two players generating real mainstream buzz. 2. Instead of leaning into that, the league often acts as if all marketing value is equal. It isn't. That's not how star power works. You build around your biggest names. You let them lift the entire league. That's how momentum grows. The NBA understood this with Jordan, with LeBron, with Curry. They didn't apologize for popularity. They embraced it and built global brands around it. The WNBA has that same chance right now. So the real questions heading into next season are clear. Will the league fully commit to promoting Caitlin the way she deserves? Will Stephanie White design an offense that highlights her strengths instead of limiting them? Will officials finally protect her from excessive physical play? And most importantly, will Caitlin return with that Iowa confidence fully intact? If those answers are yes, next season won't just be good. It will be transformative. Ratings will climb. Arenas will fill. The league will be forced to accept that it's been handed a generational talent capable of changing everything. This Team USA footage is only the beginning. The real story starts when the season tips off, and we find out whether the right lessons were finally learned.